The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Energy drinks. Over 10% of emergency room visits related to energy drinks are serious enough to result in hospitalization. Researchers at Purdue University found that high levels of caffeine drinks, then mixed with alcohol, affected brain chemistry in a similar fashion to cocaine. And what's also interesting is if you look at hospitalizations and visits as a result of energy drinks, it doubled from 2007 to 2011. And obviously that coincides with more and more energy drinks being available, people consuming them in mass quantities. I'm curious though, when we talk about cocaine, we know that that is a very serious drug, stimulant. Cocaine, first time you use it could be your last because it can cause lethal heart attacks. This combination of alcohol and energy drinks, look, I've been in the ER where I've had people come in with heart issues due to energy drinks, but I've actually, to my knowledge, I've never taken care of someone who's strung out on energy drinks and alcohol where it's affected them directly like cocaine. But does this worry you? Because no offense, I saw you drinking an energy drink before we walked out here.
Fired up before the show. And
Sucking it down. I mean, it's a combination of two things. We're now in a culture where we're overworking. And our bodies can't keep up with the amount of work and the load we're trying to put on ourselves.
Constant stimulation.
So we need to prioritize self-care and rest more and not work as much as we are. But number two, I worked at a drug and alcohol treatment center for a very long time, and we were always talking to our patients about getting off of these things because we wanted them to learn how to just cope with life without constant stimulation.
And the energy drinks, in terms of the amounts of caffeine they contain, a typical energy drink is 10 times the amount of caffeine compared to a soft drink and 5 times the amount of a cup of coffee. So when you think about that all concentrated, it's fascinating because of those ER visits, I think 42% involved energy drinks in combination with alcohol or other drugs. So you see people sort of cocktailing these to offset the effects, and then that becomes very dangerous.
We always talk on the show about things in moderation. We were just talking about the electrical stimulation and sex toys in moderation, but I will say definitely in the emergency department, in particular, I remember a long-haul trucker who, to drive through the night, was just drinking one energy drink after the other and came in, his heart rate was so elevated, he felt like he was having a heart attack. It was unbelievable to me that from energy drinks alone, his heart rate was elevated to that level. But then I asked him, and he said he'd had about 15 in the last day. But people do drink this like water, and they don't think about the potential consequences. I should point out that the study done at Purdue, it was in mice, and they were looking at the effects on the brain of these mice. The mice who were exposed to alcohol and caffeine as adolescents ended up being numb to the effect of cocaine as adults. This has to give you a little bit of pause from ordering something like that. I would look at it differently now than these energy drinks when they first came out. I'll never forget. I think it was right around when I was in my early 20s.
And they're marketed to youth. I mean, they're really marketed to teenagers and active athletes.
when you go to Vegas, you got to do it, right?
Well,
I mean, that's the only way.
It's ubiquitous in Vegas.
Well, that's standard operating procedure.
and also, many are pairing the sleeping pills for use afterwards to then come back down. That becomes the vicious cycle. Yeah.
And the market for this was astounding to me when I first started reading the research. In 2017, they're predicting $21 billion in sales in energy drinks. So it's skyrocketing.
And we're certainly not saying that you can't enjoy an energy drink. Chris just acknowledged he had one before he came out here for a little energy. And quite frankly, I have coffee in this cup for the caffeine, no doubt about it. But we all just have to be aware that these things do contain chemicals that act like drugs in our system, and everything in moderation. Just be aware of some of those concerns if you over imbibe.